As we know, Pro Tools is a very famous software, and Pro Tools is so famous that it is the industry standard on audio recording, music production, scoring, everything audio, you name it, Pro Tools is your guy. But Pro Tools is also very famous for crashing a lot. I cannot tell you how many times I've been in a recording studio recording this sweet band, the guitar solo starts happening, and an error message just pops out in my screen, and everybody gathers together in front of the screen hoping Pro Tools is just joking and kidding. And yeah, in the end, Pro Tools was very serious, and the error message just persists, and it just forces you to restart the system and restart Pro Tools, and it's horrible. There have been times that I had to tell the band, hey guys, I'm so sorry, but we have to reschedule another session because I forgot to save throughout the session. Yes, that will happen. So that's why you need to keep saving all the time, constantly, because if an error happens and you didn't save throughout the session, you could lose your whole session. So it is very frustrating. You can't win the battle against Pro Tools crashing. I mean, seriously, when Pro Tools crashes, Pro Tools is gonna do what Pro Tools wants to do, and the only thing left to say is, okay, boomer, you win, whatever. That's probably why many of us have a love and hate relationship with Pro Tools, and yeah, we just have mixed feelings about it. But we love Pro Tools anyway. Pro Tools is a great software, and Avid is a great company, and there's a reason why they are the industry standard in the world. But that doesn't stop the crashes. So here are 5 things to do before starting Pro Tools. Now, bear in mind that these 5 things are not going to keep Pro Tools from crashing forever, because that's not possible. Things happen. But these 5 things will help you and will help Pro Tools and keep Pro Tools from crashing as often. The reason why Pro Tools crashes is because there's some things within your recording system or within the computer that they're not in sync with the software, or they just not syncing well. So whenever that happens, Pro Tools decides to crash. Let's say your computer decides to update Spotify in the background. Pro Tools could crash. Or let's say your hard drive starts running slow or too fast or whatever. Pro Tools is going to crash because of that. Or your audio interface is being weird and there's some voltage anomalies inside it, and there's a shutdown for 30 milliseconds, and yeah, Pro Tools is going to detect that and it's going to crash. So yes, Pro Tools will crash because sync issues. So these 5 things are designed for Pro Tools to run smoother, and it's a routine. Just think of it as a routine. First thing you do before you start a recording session. So first thing, you come into your studio. First thing, turn off everything. Like everything. Like I'm saying, I'm serious. Like you turn everything off. Like even your lights. No, not really, but think of it as ground zero. Like everything that your recording studio needs, all your devices, your computers, everything, turn it off. Audio interface, speakers, everything. Why are we doing this? Because we're giving everything a fresh start. And that's very helpful when starting a Pro Tools session, that everything is in sync and everything is ready to go and not running weird things in the background or whatever. Give everything a fresh start. Ground zero. After you turn everything off, the first thing you turn on is your hard drives. If you're using a hard drive like myself, I use external hard drives to store and archive my libraries or older sessions, sound libraries, sample libraries, to be more specific. But now, if you're using a hard drive that it just plugs into the USB hub and gets power from the computer, then you can skip this step. You don't need that. But if you have a hard drive, like myself, it's like a hub that holds multiple hard drives, then you have to make sure that hub is on. Give it 10 to 20 seconds for the hard drives to run up to speed and warm up, because many of the computer problems could happen, error messages, because your hard drive is not running properly. So anyway, so once you do that, you move to the next step. turn on your audio interface. See how we didn't turn on our computer first. Why is that? Well, if you think about it, your computer will turn on first and it will detect no audio interface. So it will choose as a default playback engine its main sound card, the computer's sound card. Then you go ahead and turn on the audio interface and then open Pro Tools. Pro Tools is probably seeing the aggregate device, and then you switch it to the audio interface in Pro Tools, but then the computer is still in the sound card, in its own sound card. So the computer is gonna make the switch without you not noticing that. There are times that it doesn't make the switch, but if it makes it, that switch between the sound card to the audio interface with the computer settings can cause Pro Tools to crash. So just be aware of that. So anyway, so make sure the audio interface is on. Now, if you have a audio interface, a smaller audio interface with 2 channels like the Scarlett or the Solo, they don't need power. So they get their power from the USB supply in the computer. So if you are in that case, you can skip this step 2 and move to the next one. Now, if you are like myself and you own a Claret, you have to turn the Claret on first. Turn that on, give it a few seconds to warm up. We want those preamps to be warm. And then you're ready to move to the next step. They do need to be powered, remember. Power that big interface. They have more channels, so usually they have to be powered. And then you move to the next step. Turn on your computer. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I've seen people, they turn on their computer and they're just 2 seconds later and they're ready to go. Like, they're like, come on, let's get to work. Give your computer a chance. Like, even if you have a very expensive, super powerful computer, give it a chance for it to run all the processes and whatever and finish. So it is ready for you to do whatever you want it to do. Now, if you own an older PC, of course, you have to give it a chance to run smoothly and finish all the processes. Nothing against PCs. There's some very powerful PCs that I've worked with, and I'm like amazed how they work. But yeah, give them a chance to finish the processing they have to do before you continue. Now, trust me, if you do this, you're gonna be so happy because your computer is gonna be running so smoothly, and yeah, no crashes or anything. And then once you do this, the next step is to turn on your speakers. Now, why to turn on your speakers last? This is a sound engineering rule. Many sound engineers, like live sound engineers, front of house engineers, recording engineers, all sound guys in the world have this rule. And this is to turn on your speakers last whenever you're turning on a system. The reason why is because when turning on a system, there are so many voltage, electronical things going on that will cause your speakers to pop or will cause your speakers to crack. And you don't want that to happen to your speakers because that's going to kill your speaker. That's going to damage your speaker. And if you're using a very expensive speaker, that's not good for them. That's why whenever you are at church and you see the bass player just unplugs his bass guitar without telling the sound guy will give the bass player the stare of death because that's bad for the PA system. That pop, especially from a bass guitar, that's not good. And when turning off your system, apply the same rule, but in reverse, Instead of turning your speakers on last, you're going to turn them off first and then work backwards. So once you're done with all of this and you think everything is running smoothly and everything is on and everything looks perfect, then open Pro Tools and it's time for you to start making some sweet records. I'm just very happy to know this 5 steps, because seriously, it has helped me a lot. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you. I don't remember the last time that I had a crash. The last time I had a crash probably was because my guitar player unplugged my uh, rack by mistake, and my audio interfaces and everything went off. And yeah, it just crashed. Pro Tools crashed because it lost connection with the audio interfaces. Um, but yeah, I mean, you follow this, create a routine. Every time you go to your recording studio, make it a routine, and I promise you that if you do these 5 things, Pro Tools is not going to crash as often. Anyway, if this helped you, just, hey man, just follow me or just let me know. Anyway, thank you.